Oh, it's
No, it says we're live.
yeah. It says we're live.
No, it
Weird.
says we're live.
Yeah, it says we're live.
But it looks like it just
Weird.
started now. It looks like you
Yeah, it says
minimized
we're
it too
live.
fast. We've been
But it
live
looks
for
like it
12
just
seconds.
started
now. It looks like you
Yeah, it says
minimized
we're
it too
live.
fast. We've been But it live looks for like it 12
just
seconds.
started
now. It looks like you
Yeah, it says
minimized
we're
it too
live.
fast. We've been But it live looks for
like
12
it
seconds.
just started
now. It looks like you
Yeah, it says
minimized
we're
it too
live.
fast.
Yeah, I think
We've been
Jot,
live for
something
12
happened
seconds.
here
now.
where
It looks like
we
you
were
minimized it too
where I had
fast.
started the stream,
Yeah,
but
I
I guess
think
probably
Jot,
something
minimized
happened
it.
here
now.
where
It looks like
we
you
were,
minimized it too
where I had
fast.
started the stream, but I guess
yeah,
probably
Jot,
what happened
minimized
here
it.
where
So
we
we've
were,
been reading,
where I had started the stream, but I guess
yeah,
probably what happened here where we were, where I had started the stream, but I guess probably what happened here where we were, where I had started the stream, but I guess probably what happened here where we were, where I had started the stream, but I guess
let's start over again. 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 Let's start over. Oh, because I am so sorry about that. I had the live stream in the background here for testing, and I guess what just happened is that was not good. Echoing. So I have it. Oh no, this is a disaster. Howdy, folks. I'm Brian.
I'm Amber.
And here's some Reddit for real. Let's hope there are no more technical difficulties from here on out. Yeah, that was completely my fault. Oh my goodness. So YouTube did not like how I started the stream. So we've been reading for 12 minutes without any kind of, like, I guess, audience. And I was like, it's awfully quiet in the chat box. So let's actually get started. Let's actually read some stories to some real people and not just to myself and Amber. How's that sound to you folks?
Are you saying that we're not real people?
We aren't real people. I'm literally just a torso. Oh, and let's also change out to the first one. So, yeah. Scrolling back to the top here. Our first story is an update. And it's titled, Am I the Jerk for Walking Out of the Airport When I Saw My Husband's Mom Standing There with Her Luggage? Hello. I don't know where to begin, but it's been an absolute nightmare recently, and I feel like I was losing my sanity. So, for more details about my situation, I have to admit that my husband's mom favors him over all his siblings. This affected his relationship with them as well as me. He's never seen an issue with how differently his mom treats him. It's bothered me and made me feel uncomfortable. The whole dynamic made me feel uncomfortable. Going low contact has never been an option, like he has to see her and call her every single day. Most of his siblings won't even talk to him, and I 100% believe it's because his mom's favoritism, like I said. He does bear some blame for not seeing how wrong this is till this day. In many instances, I found myself making excuses for his behavior, even in my post. I did spontaneously, and I don't know why. But I guess it's because of how much I love him, and because I really, really wanted to be able to work things out, and this type of thing without letting it affect our marriage. Regarding with what happened with the trip, he tried to have a talk with me, and most of what he said came from a place of blame. Blame towards me. I just couldn't continue with this argument. I told him that I needed some space, and that I would be going to stay with my sister for a little while, and he didn't take it well. He literally got up from the couch and opened the door, telling me to go right then. In that moment, and seeing how he was still not anywhere near understanding what he had just done, made things perfectly clear to me. I just had pictured years and years of my life being lived like that, and I was like, no, I just can't do it. Can't take it anymore, especially when he keeps focusing on being right every single time. His mom can do no wrong. I'm always the aggressive, crazy, jealous, pathetic overreactor. All of these people's opinions, advice, concerns were like a spark, like a wake-up call I really needed. Though I wish that I didn't get this far, but what's done is done. Right now, I'm staying with my sister. I brought my dog as well as with me. He sent me his last message saying that I'm the one who's choosing to end what we had together, but I believe it's the other way around, especially with how he keeps making his mom the victim in this situation. It's become clear now that we're going to keep going in circles with no end to reach, and I'm just so exhausted and overwhelmed. I'm not mad at him, and I don't expect him to change, but at least I'm given options to decide what's best for me and my future, even if it's separation and divorce. Big thanks to everyone who's reached out with those resources, and I feel very lucky to have come across them. I just wanted to give an update since many of you have asked. All right, folks, here you go, an update.
Yes. I mean, I know this is hard for OP, but I think OP, you're ultimately making the right call. Your husband has shown that he does not view you as a priority.
Yeah.
His mom always comes first, and him being right is always more important. And
Yeah.
when you have a partner who does not make you a priority, that's not a good relationship.
No, this one was really sad because, like, it just shows that he, no matter what, is never going to see her as an equal in his eyes to his mom, and that his mom is always going to come first. And I think that's really what this boils down to. And he's over here blaming OP for ending the relationship, but really, he's the one who ended the relationship. Like, I think he's got fixated on his mind that the reason why the relationship is over is because he took his mom on vacation, right? So he's so blind to, like, everything that probably the reason in his mind is that, oh, I tried taking my mom on vacation and now my relationship's over. She's overreacting. So, yeah. I just thought I would share that one, and hopefully you all enjoyed that update. Or not enjoyed that update, because it wasn't a very good update.
No, but at least there's some closure.
Yeah. And Jot says, he sounds like my ex, always having to be right and never accepting anything else. Yeah, that's too bad, Jot. I'm sorry to hear that. That's a bad relationship right there. Just like my relationship with Amber, I'm always right.
Yeah, you're not.
I am always right.
We each always think we're right. But not really.
Yeah. we're not serious.
Am I the jerk for making my daughter use dollar store shampoo and conditioner? My wife and I have 3 daughters. Oldest is 16, middle is 14, and youngest is 10. My entire family and my wife's family all have straight hair. My oldest and youngest also have straight hair. Then there's my middle with curly blonde hair and green eyes. The rest of the family has brown hair and brown eyes. I admittedly am not very close with her because I had doubts that she was mine, and I had a hard time bonding with her due to that. My middle daughter insists that she needs special shampoo and conditioner because of her curly hair. She found some that wasn't too expensive, so I bought it for her, but she goes through the conditioner like water. She came to me after a little over a month and said that she needed another bottle. I told her she doesn't and that her conditioner should last her at least another month, but probably longer. And she insists that you need to use a lot of conditioner for curly hair. I bought her another bottle and told her to use less because she wasn't getting another one for at least 2 months. She used it again in a month, so I bought her shampoo and conditioner from the dollar store. She had a meltdown about how this is going to ruin her hair and that she just got to a place where she liked it and it was manageable. She blames us for her hair being uncontrollable for most of her life because we didn't learn how to take care of curly hair, even though it's not that different than straight hair. She even threatened to shave her head, which I know she won't do because she's obsessed with her hair. Now she's refusing to speak to me and she's being extremely disrespectful to me and my wife. My wife thinks we should give in, but I think she needs to learn her lesson. Am I the jerk?
And Jot says, I've heard this one before, and I'm fully convinced this guy is still believing that she isn't his, and that's why he's assuming that she's lying.
Yeah, that's the main thing I wanted to, get to here. Yeah, he's the jerk for the conditioner thing, and we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But the biggest issue here is that Opie has one child who he is
convinced
isn't his, and so he's not being a proper father to her. And that's not fair to her. At this point in time, dude, just take the DNA test.
Yeah.
You either have to step up and be her dad, commit yourself to it, because you don't have to be a child's biological parent to be a good parent to them. Or you need to remove yourself from her life, so separate from your wife to go about it. But you can't have one kid who you basically treat like garbage because you're like, well, she doesn't look like me, so she's not mine.
Well, and that's also says, what's that say about his wife too? He doesn't trust his wife, he doesn't trust his daughter, and Aku says, this poor child, it's so sad, right? And I mean, It's like, just either you don't have, this guy has major trust issues. He's not trusting his wife. He's not trusting his daughter. And this is all stemming from the fact that he really sincerely believes that his daughter isn't his daughter.
And genetics are wild. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, my parents both have dark hair, and my siblings and I all have like medium brown hair. And like, it's just really weird because, you'd think with two dark-haired people,
Yeah.
genetically, at least one of us would have dark hair. But
Yeah.
no, we all came out with the exact same shade.
Yeah. And Jot says the comments on this one pointed out that he doesn't understand how genetics work, since he's the only went based on his immediately family and ignored his wife.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
exactly.
genetics are wild. And so, but yeah, and then to get to the conditioner thing, yes, curly hair is different from straight hair.
Yeah.
It does need different types of hair care.
Yeah.
And so I think that OP is in the wrong for that too. And a month isn't even that long,
No.
like, to run out of conditioner, and it's not like she's going through a bottle a day or something.
Yeah, I mean, just trust that she knows how much conditioner she needs. And, like, I understand that conditioner can be expensive, but your daughter just needs to care for her hair. And if this is what it takes, then, I mean, why not make her happy? I mean, it just seems like a small ask here. All right. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for making my sister-in-law pay above average rent for one bedroom? I'm 100% being petty here, but I'm curious if I'm actually wrong. Most of my husband's family thinks that I'm being childish and that I need to let go of the past. As my sister-in-law can't afford this, but her behavior towards us in the past makes me feel like this is warranted. Well, 2 years ago, my house burnt to the ground after being struck by lightning. Thankfully, it was during the day, so our 3 kids were at school and my husband and I were at work. We lost everything, but we were safe. It took almost 11 months for the insurance to pay out, and the insurance covered 1 month worth of hotel stays, and after that, we were made to fend for ourselves, and our only option was that we had to move in with my sister-in-law. She tells us that we can have her spare room and her office space since she used neither of the rooms, and her stipulations were that we needed to purchase all of our own food and pay her $100 a week. By week 3, all of that had changed. Since then, she decided that we needed to pay her $250 a week, and we can only use one room. So all 5 of us were crammed into the smallest room she had, which was the size of a glorified closet space and didn't even fit a twin bed and a small dresser. So we lived out of trash bags and slept on the floor for close to $1,000 a month for some months, and still had to purchase all of our own food despite her claiming my children on her food stamps. She had no bills outside of her land tax, $450 a year, electricity, and heating oil, which she hardly ever filled. So we were essentially paying her so she could do leisure activities. It was the worst 8 months of my life. Well, 3 months ago, my grandmother decided that she wanted to go into assisted living after the fall and transferred the deed of her house to me and basically said it was mine now. It's a 5-bedroom farmhouse. My boys insist on sharing a room, so we have 2 extra bedrooms. Well, my sister-in-law lost her house last month due to not paying her land tax for several years and asked her if her and her stepdaughter could stay with us until they get enough money to move down south. I said sure. 1 bedroom, $800 a month, and you have to buy and cook all of your own food separately because my daughter is a vegan. She looked at me like I had 10 heads and said that she and her stepdaughter should not be made to share a room when there's 2 extra rooms, and stated that she cannot afford rent of $800 while purchasing all of her own food on top of that. On top of it, I said, neither could we, but we managed to cram 5 people into a glorified closet space while you were getting close to $100,000 in food stamps. Take it or leave it. She decided to leave. Again, I'm being told that I'm being childish. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk, and let all those people who tell you you're being childish take her in instead.
Yeah, where are they? Why aren't they paying the $1,000 a month? And where were they when you needed to when you were living out of a closet?
Right, like, no, why didn't any of them step in and be like, you can't do this to her, like, that's not fair, you're mistreating OP.
Yeah.
So these people have no ground to stand on. You're 100% within your right to set this, so.
What I don't understand is, like, was taking a long time for OP to live in that place. I mean, I don't know how much like rent in the area was or anything like that, but I just want to know why they didn't try finding a different apartment. And I mean, I guess like they might not have been able to afford it or something like that because some areas have really overpriced rent.
Well,
so
my guess is they probably expected the insurance payout to come sooner. Like, they probably weren't told, oh, it's going to be 11 months. It was probably like, we'll get to it, and like then it ends up being 11 months.
Yeah, I just feel really bad for these folks because it's like being crammed in a little closet space for that long must have been pretty terrible. And the sister-in-law, how did she not pay her land tax with all that money that they were getting from OP?
I mean, there are people, and I know I'm very close to one of these people who just assume that if you don't pay your bills, they just magically will go away.
They will disappear.
And that is and the person I'm referring to here is college educated, and everything. Like, they're in grad school now, and just believe that, like, if you don't pay bills, then they just magic out of existence. So
yeah, it's a very kind of unhealthy, delusional type thinking and whatnot. So all right, let's move on to our next story.
Do you want to do a tea time real quick?
Oh yeah, let's do a tea time real quick. All right, folks, it's tea time. So I actually have a story.
Oh, what is this?
Yeah, it's a second joke book on top of this other joke book. So, and this one actually has a green block right in the middle there, so that's why it's kind of looking invisible. So basically what happened is I was looking in the inside of that Super Silly Riddle book, and originally it was apparently published under this book called The Big Book of Silly Riddles, but it was very confusing because, like, it was supposedly published in 1890 or something like that, and so I purchased this book thinking that it was going to be a much, much older book from 1890, and it is not. It is a very modern book from the 87? Yeah, 1987. So certainly not from the 1800s. So, do you want to read a joke?
I will.
All right. It's an identical clone to the other joke book.
What letter has traveled further than any other?
Oh, I just recently think I said this one. I don't remember. What's the punchline?
The letter D. It has gone to the end of the world.
Oh, that's right. Oh no, that's terrible, terrible jokes. All right, and just so that you folks know what kind of tea I have Earl Grey tea today. And Amber has water.
Yes, I do. Do you want to check and make sure the live stream's still running?
Yeah, I can do that real quick. I think, oh, there, Aki just said something. So, he says that he's guessing mint for Amber and licorice spice for Brian. So, that's a good guess, Aku. But unfortunately you weren't right.
No. Yeah, I just have water today.
Yeah. Oh, he's like, oh. Oh no, I feel so bad. Sorry. And Jot says, my guess was wrong, even though I didn't get in time because I was cooking. Oh, hopefully you enjoy whatever you're cooking there, Jot. All right, let's move on to the next thing there. So, all right. Our next letter is titled, or is this one mine?
It's mine.
Oh, do you want me to read it if your voice is getting tired?
Yeah, I'll let you read it.
Amber's voice is getting tired because we were already reading for a little while beforehand. So, am I the jerk for going off on my soon-to-be husband for returning my wedding dress? This one is ridiculous. Me, a 29-year-old female, and my soon-to-be husband, a 33-year-old male, are getting married soon. Wedding planning so far has been going alright, except for a few things that he and I argued about, like the venue and the flower girl. Now we've been arguing about my wedding dress. This might sound cliche, but ever since I was young, I dreamed about having my own beautiful wedding dress. I can afford it, but my soon-to-be husband thinks that it's not okay to waste a couple $1,000s on a dress that I'm only gonna wear once. Yes, he might have a point here, but for one, this is a typical price for a wedding dress, and two, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, then why not make sure it is special? Soon-to-be husband still wasn't convinced and suggested that I rent a dress instead of buying one. He started saying that I'm being irresponsible with money and brought up how much money I've already put aside to, quote, rent a face, which he means makeup, and wear fake hair, which he means extensions. But I have this vision of what I want to look like, sort of, so to speak, on my wedding, and I think that it's my right as a bride. I went ahead and purchased the dress, but a day later I found out it was missing from my closet. I freaked out, but he told me that he returned it and got the money back. I was shocked, and I asked him why he did that, and he said he thought the dress was ridiculously expensive and that I was wasting money, and again suggested that I go rent one. Well, I blew up and went off on him, which I've never done before. He literally took a few steps back and told me to calm down. That's always effective. That was super effective. But it wasn't. I said he had no right, that I'm the one paying for the dress. He got upset and said that I'm not paying, that I'm paying for it myself. He got upset and said there's no I'm paying for it myself in marriage, and that my attitude is setting the tone for what type of dynamic we'll have in our marriage. He kept on about how I must expect him to pay for everything while I keep my money or spend it irresponsibly, but I never tell him how to spend his money. I responded that he gets zero say in how I spend my money whatsoever. He told me that I should grow F up and stop with the dream wedding dress cliche, and then stormed off to call his mom, who chewed me out, saying that she won't let me ruin her son's financial stability with how I deal with money generally. She too urged me to rent a dress or buy a cheaper one, way cheaper than the one I picked, and move on, but I declined. Edit an ad for repeated questions. Yes, he still has the money and says he'll give it back once we agree to a solution. So he stole from you.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say OP is not the jerk here, and do not marry this man.
Yeah.
Like, he has shown that you are what's important to you is not a priority for him. Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah, well, that's just it. That's just it. It's your OP isn't a priority for him, and that OP is basically being treated like she doesn't know what she's doing, that she's irresponsible, that she's wasting money, that she's going to continue to basically, she's setting the tone for the marriage. And I mean, if anyone's setting a tone for the marriage, it's him.
Right, like this would be different if they didn't have the money for the dress, but like it's not like OP is taking out, massive debt or anything for this. It sounds like she can afford it. And he's treating her money like it's all his. Like, oh, well, in a marriage, there's no your money, it's all ours.
Yeah.
By which I mean it's all mine.
Exactly. And Aki says, not the jerk, seems like he's trying, the one trying to set the tone for the marriage.
Yeah.
And they're like, yes, I mean, exactly. We're on the same wavelength here.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, this is just like, it's such a sad situation because OP is just trying to have the wedding that they want, and they're being resisted at every single turn here. And I think that's sad because, like, OP is trying to salvage the situation, but she's throwing good money after bad money, so to speak.
Well, someone who runs to their mom when they have a fight with you is not a good person you want to marry. Like, if he can't handle the argument like an adult, if he has to go run and bring in someone else to harass you, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically bullying you with his mom. Like, he's ganging up against you with another person so that it makes his argument seem more reasonable. And it's just like, mommy, my wife, my soon-to-be wife is not agreeing with me. Tell her to agree with me. And that's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. All right, let's move on to the next letter here. Am I the jerk for screaming at my sister and making her cry in front of everyone after finding out she took part in this, quote, prank with my ex? Well, over a year ago, my relationship got put in a bad place because my ex and I, a 27-year-old male, broke up. Oh, I'm a 27-year-old male, and I broke up with my 2-year. That messed me up. Because my ex, I'm a 27-year-old male, broke up with 2 years prior, sent me a DM that I'm her baby's daddy. Her daughter was under a year old, by the way, so I already knew it was BS. And I told her, don't contact me again. She found my girlfriend, a 27-year-old female, on Instagram and then started sending her messages too that this is my daughter. She's sorry for being involved with me, knowing that I was in a relationship with my girlfriend, but since I'm refusing to take responsibility, she didn't know who else to reach out to, trying to make herself seem all genuine. My girlfriend was sent fake screenshots that were supposedly from me, and then also from ones that I actually sent her about leaving me alone, and that's not my baby. Around this time, my girlfriend was 6 months pregnant, so stress hormones of that, plus the info that she gave her, the times were supposedly that we met up after telling my girlfriend that I'm working late, matches up because those were actually nights that I had to work late. That all freaked her out, and she really did start having her doubts. I got to the point where my girlfriend was really scared and confused, and then she went to go stay at her parents for a few days. I was scared and that I was going to lose my family. Then my ex apologized when she heard my girlfriend wasn't staying at our apartment. She just wanted to mess with me a little because she was still bitter that I dumped her, but didn't mean for it to go that far. Well, my girlfriend came back, took some time to come back from that, but we have our son who's now 7 months old and we're happier than ever. My sister, a 25-year-old female, told me about this last weekend when we were at our parents'. She got a little tipsy from the Momoas, and when we were joking about all our old embarrassing stories, she blurted out but she thought that it was okay to talk about it now since me and my girlfriend were fine. I kept asking her why she would do something like that, straight up arguing right there in front of my family. She says that she was just being stupid and bored since she wasn't working like my ex. And like my ex, didn't realize that it would get that bad, which is why they stopped it. But obviously, my ex didn't rat on my sister. I called my sister a stupid bee for almost wrecking my relationship, and what that put my girlfriend through. My sister started crying, and this is why she didn't say anything, because it might get this reaction. She only said something now because she was embarrassed, and now we're in a good place, so she doesn't know why I'm so mad about it. It was a whole thing. My sister cried in the bathroom and wouldn't come out. I went home early to be with my girlfriend and son. They all say I behaved like a jerk when my sister decided to come clean to owe her an apology for my overreaction like she owed me one. My reaction was warranted though, or was it actually an overreaction? And I'm still mad about it. Am I the jerk? And hi June. Welcome, June, welcome.
We're glad to see you. I'm gonna say that I don't advocate for name calling.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I can completely understand OP's upset here
Yeah.
because, and these are completely unequivalent scenarios. His family's trying to be like, well, she did a thing to you, but you did a thing to her, so now you just need to apologize and make up. No, this isn't even a prank. Like, she teamed up with his ex to systematically harass his new girlfriend until she was convinced. Like, they made the fake text messages and everything. Like, just convinced her that, oh yeah, by the way, like, your boyfriend has been cheating on you and has a kid of his own, type of deal. And like, that's completely uncalled for. And so
yeah, well, that's just it. It's like, there was a huge breach of trust here. The sister went out of her way to basically make their lives miserable, and they didn't even come clean when they saw that it was like starting to get really uncomfortable for them. So, I guess like eventually they did come clean, but they really let this whole family suffer because like the sister wanted to get her jollies out of the situation. This is just kind of absolutely absurd. So I don't think that OP should be apologizing to his sister. If anyone should be apologizing, it's the sister, and she should be groveling for forgiveness, you know? So, yeah. And June was said that, oh good, I went to get a golden eagle. Well, I hope you're enjoying that golden eagle. All right. So our next letter, unless anyone has anything to say on that one, is titled, Am I the Jerk for Kicking My Boyfriend and His Friend Out of My Car in the Middle of Our Road Trip? Well, my boyfriend, a 27-year-old male, and I, a 26-year-old female, decided to go on a road trip like we do every year. This year, he said that he doesn't want to ruin his new car and suggested that we go in my car. He also requested that we do the driving, but I told him it's my car then and that I should drive it. He tried to make comments about my driving, how it's slow and inconsistent, but eventually dropped it and we went. Well, he brought his buddy with him, and they both sat in the back. Once we got on the road, my boyfriend started making comments about my driving while asking me to let him drive instead. I ignored him and kept driving, and then he and his friend kept saying things like, OP, you're driving like a girl. Wait, you are a girl. Ha 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 ha. That's funny because it's not. It's stupid. They start to laugh and they say, you're driving as bad as our old neighbor. Again, I ignored them, but they go on with, seriously, who taught you to drive like that? And hope the cops pull us over and end this misery. I couldn't take it anymore and I began to lose my temper. So I told them to stop and that if either of them make one more comment, just one more comment about my driving, then I'm going to kick them out. Well, my boyfriend glanced at me, then things got quiet for about 5 minutes, and he finally mumbled, all right, I think we should call 911 because your driving is causing me brain damage. I snapped and immediately stopped the car, and I told them that I had enough and that he needed to get out. He tried to argue saying that I was overreacting and that he was just trying to, quote, teach me to drive better, but I told him to get out. His friends came at me, defending him, but I told him to get out too. My boyfriend then said that I was nuts because we were in the middle of nowhere, but there was a gas station nearby. I told them both to get out and put their bags on the side of the road, and then I drove off. I went home instead of continuing on the trip, and I cried all the way there. Later, I had an argument with my boyfriend upon his return, and he told me that it was cruel of me to kick him out and his friend, and it ruined our trip over a few comments that they made with good intentions. Oh, such good intentions. I told him that he mocked my driving the entire time and called it horrible, and in response to what he said, that he was just saying that he was being honest with me, and that it's all my fault for refusing to let him drive in the first place. Now we're not even talking, and he keeps huffing and puffing around me for doing this to him and his friend. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk, and hopefully this guy is your ex now, OP.
Yeah, Jot says OP's boyfriend sounds a bit insecure in his masculinity.
Like, the guy didn't want to take his car, so
Yeah,
like, let's take your car. But no, I have to drive because I'm the man, so I have to drive. And then like, he's making all these comments, trying to pressure OP. And he has his friend with him, too, so they're both ganging up on OP.
Yeah.
Trying to pressure her to cave.
Yeah.
OP gave them fair warning. She said, if you say this again, I'm going to kick you out. So I don't think OP did anything wrong here. She gave them fair warning.
Yeah.
She left them at a gas station. She didn't strand them in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, well, this would be a little bit different if she abandoned them in the middle of the desert or something like that, where they would not have, like, where there would be a chance that they could have some kind of bodily harm done to them by, like, not having access to water or food or anything like that. But this was relatively close to somewhere that they could get, and OP gave them fair warning too on top of that, right? So I don't think that OP's the jerk. And June says he's definitely the jerk. I probably would have done the same thing. Yeah, I mean, I can't blame you there, June. It's like, this was obnoxious behavior. They sat there and harassed her the entire time till she got to a breaking point, and she gave them fair warning. Mm-hmm. But instead of just keeping their mouths shut, they had to push that boundary. So, yeah, I mean, I can't blame OP here. I really can't. All right, oops. Let's move on to the next story here. Our next story is titled, Am I the Jerk for What I, an 18-year-old male, told my dad after I got tired of his stupid pranks? So, my dad has been annoying me with his stupid stuff for years. He acts like a teenager, I swear sometimes, and then I feel that I'm more mature than him. My mom yelled at him a few times too because he also does it to her. He really doesn't know how pranks work or when to stop. He used to be dumb and it used to be dumb and annoying stuff like giant fake spiders, roaches in the fridge, or around the house, hiding in the shower to scare one of us, but honestly, he's taking it too far. Here's some examples that he's done to me that went way over. So, taking all the clothes from my drawer and hiding it all over the house so I can't find them in the morning. He's done this to me like 4 times. Putting whipped cream all the way inside my shoes so I can't untie after I put them on. I am lactose intolerant, so one time he switched my almond milk out and used it to make pancakes and it made me have the runs all day long, which that's actually not a joke at all. That's
No.
actually like assault, like poisoning somebody who, is allergic to a food. That's not good. My dad apologized for that one, but the whole family was mad at him for weeks, so he stopped with the pranks. It's not like we don't talk about it. He says we'll laugh about it in the future, but I really don't see that happening and told him that there are other ways to make memories other than making everyone mad. A million times I told him to stop because all he's doing is making me not want to be around him. All this week, I've had job interviews lined up since I'll be able to start working full time after I graduate in a couple of weeks. I even bought a whole bunch of suit and tie to look more professional. Before I was leaving, he asked me to help him take in some groceries out of the car because he had to go to the bathroom. Instead, he dropped a water balloon on me from the window when I was coming back in. For the first time, I was ready to cuss him out. That's how mad I got. It made me more mad because he was laughing and recording it on his phone, telling me not to get too mad and I can use one of his shirts for my interview. It wasn't even that though. This was my own nice suit I bought with my own money. The interview was going to be soon, but I didn't cuss. I just told him this is why he's not going to hear from me after I move in a couple of weeks, and just to think about that. He told me to stop being dramatic, but I still kept going. Just so he doesn't wonder why I don't like him anymore when this is why he's better be ready. Well, let me redo that one, sorry. Why I don't like him anymore. This is why, so he better be ready to get blocked after I'm gone. His reaction made me feel good because he was very serious. He didn't even tell me anything when I left or after when I came back. Ever since then, he's been serious though. He's not even talking when we have breakfast, doesn't smile, and I don't talk to him either. My mom says that I seriously hurt his feelings and that I shouldn't say stuff like that when it's just his way of trying to have fun with us. But I'm not seeing how telling him what's going to happen is wrong. I'm fed up. Does it make me a jerk for hurting his feelings in that way though? Ugh.
No,
Yuck.
you're not the jerk here.
And Little Soldier Mike says they sound young. I mean, he sounds like a kid, you know? And Jot says, what is it with people and being with adult children lately?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and so this is the thing. Like, this is not jokes are only funny when
Yeah.
everyone involved is having fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he is doing this at the expense of his family.
Yeah.
They have repeatedly told him they don't like it.
Yeah.
And like he is not listening.
No.
Like
Well, and I mean, it would be understandable, like, taking a joke accidentally too far one time and then being told, hey, I don't like this. Please stop doing these kinds of jokes. And then, quitting the jokes and being like, oh, I'm really sorry that took it too far.
right, well, this isn't even a joke either. Like
No.
you're sabotaging your son right
Yeah.
before he has to go for a job interview.
Like, how is that even funny? Like, how is dropping a water balloon on your son who's just about to go to a job interview funny? Like, you're gonna rattle him, you're gonna make him uncomfortable, he's gonna be wet, he's gonna be uncomfortable for the job interview, and yeah, it's just not good. And June says, I agree with Amber, that's what I was thinking. So, I just think that this is such a terrible situation for the son, and the dad shouldn't be surprised when when the son doesn't come and talk to them in the
Right.
future,
Well,
you
that's
know?
the thing too. Is OP was literally just telling him, "This is what I'm going to do because you have repeatedly disrespected my boundaries."
Yeah.
OP wasn't rude or anything. Yeah, not that, like, it would be in the wrong necessarily if he was rude, because this was a really nasty thing to do to him. But
Mm-hmm.
like, OP just told him this is there are consequences for your actions, and so. For the mom to be like, "Oh, well, you're hurting his feelings." Like, why aren't you thinking about OP's feelings and all of
Yeah,
this?
like, why aren't you cussing your husband out, or why aren't you telling him to stop this? I mean, what point in time does enough become enough, you know?
Mm-hmm.
These people needed to stand up to him a long time ago, and the wife especially, because she would be the one person he would at least listen to.
In theory,
So,
but it
in
sounds like he
theory,
doesn't, like,
yeah.
because she's told him not to before, and he doesn't listen.
Well, I mean, I think like threatening to kick him out of the house or make him
Yeah.
sleep on the couch or any number of things, would be at least some kind of repercussion. But it doesn't sound like he has any other repercussions other than the
Mm-hmm.
mom yelling at him to stop, don't do that anymore. And it's like, that's not enough at a certain point,
Mm-hmm.
right? All right. Our next letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for the Way I Dress in the Office? So, I'm honestly not sure how to put this. I'm fairly certain that I'm not the jerk, but people are acting otherwise. Some background. I'm a 39-year-old female and I work in an office. I have worked for this particular company for going on 6 years, and I have never been told the way I dress is a problem from either the owner or the vice president, the only people I'm directly under. I have dressed the same way since I started. Today I'm wearing gray jeggings, a light blue tank with pink/gray skulls and butterflies on it, and a pink blazer, and black heels about 4 inch. I also have light blue hair. This is typical of how I dress at work. The issue, until recently, I was the only woman who worked here. Typical of the industry, recently though, we hired 2 women to help the company as it's growing. One is in her early 20s and we'll call her Katie, and the other is in her mid 50s and we'll call her Angie. I am both of their bosses. But it's very relaxed company, and I treat them more like colleagues than someone that I'm superior to. Well, today, Katie commented on my heels. She said that they're cute and asked where I got them. And I told her. Angie piped in that they are a bit inappropriate for an office. They're black, open-toed, 4 inch heels. And I asked her what she meant. To which she replied that they're a little bit, a word that we can't...
Sultry.
Sultry. A word we can say on YouTube. To be wearing anywhere other than a club. She followed up, but you usually dress with a little inappropriate for an office anyways. I guess that's the benefit of a relaxed company. I told her that I didn't think there was anything sultry about the way I was dressing, and went to my desk to start some work. Well, later on, I overheard Angie telling Katie to take note and not to dress like me if she ever wants to have a long-standing career that's actually to be valued. That's the only reason why I've worked here for so long, is because my boobs are always on display and the men enjoy staring. I will admit that I do have rather large boobs, but I never have cleavage, even if a lot of my tops are more form-fitting. I also work very hard to be where I am in the industry that I work in, and I feel blessed to have found a company which allows me to dress like I do. I do like showing off my body, I'm a little bit vain, and I spend time in the gym working on it. I've never once questioned the way I dress at this company, but overhearing what I have said, what Angie has said, I'm wondering if I should be dressing more conservatively. Edited ad. I have a closed door meeting with my VP about Angie. I explained what has transpired today, and how I'm shocked. And I let her know that I let her know most of my concern was for Katie, as Angie has seeming been trying to manipulate her in some way. For example, undermine me as a superior, instill self-doubt about her and her appearance. He said that it was entirely up to him, that he would fire her. We have a zero tolerance policy on harassment, and this absolutely constitutes harassment. For now, Angie is on probation. She is to have zero contact with the guys in the shop. Some of them are a little rough, but they're good guys. We don't want her having her opinions rubbing off on them. Any further comments about coworkers' appearances will result in termination. She's irate and, to say the least, I won't be surprised if she quits. I'm also having lunch with Katie tomorrow, Angie's regular day off, and I'm going to try and feel out what she's been saying to her. And let her know that her appearance has no bearing on her merit in this industry, and that while she may need to be more conservative than myself at other companies, here we are more relaxed with the dress code, and she should feel free to be herself.
I'm gonna
All
say
right.
OP is not the jerk here. I mean, she's dressing the way she wants to dress, and it is fine with the office culture. She's not violating any rules, and a lot of times those rules are silly anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But so OP's not doing anything wrong here, and it just sounds like Angie probably comes from a very different environment.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's no excuse for her, saying rude things to OP about her appearance.
Yeah, exactly. And little soldier Mike says, the lady must have no life if she's worried about what this girl is wearing. And I mean, it's just like, mind your own business at a certain point, right? If there's no dress, if she's not violating the dress code, then she's not violating the dress code, right? She might not be, like OP said, she might not be wearing something that might be appropriate for another job or office, but this doesn't have any merit on her position here.
Right.
She's doing her job and she's doing it well, and that's what's important.
Yeah, and this whole reinforcing the idea that OP is only where she is in the company because of her looks and the way she dresses is really uncool too. So it is really not nice at all of Angie to, be undermining OP like this and saying those kind of things. And so.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that that's the big thing here is that we're getting this is June says she should dress the way she wants and own it. I agree. That is well said there, June. She should. She really should. Like, this again isn't having any impact. There's no dress code, and you can have the benefit of no dress code, right? So that's kind of my thoughts there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great thing. I mean, I have not worked in environments with dress codes, and it's great just being able to wear things with your personality. Although, in grad school, you pretty much just wear like t-shirts and jeans all the time because you're like, I'm tired. Just grab something that's clean and throw it on. So like, even though I had all the freedom in the world to dress how I want, it was like, okay, it's clean. I'm good.
Yeah. Well, my job does have a dress code, but it's been relaxed a lot since I started working here, just because like everything's work at home. And I mean, I actually don't technically have a dress code because I work from home now. So, yeah, I can actually, as long as I'm wearing something that isn't like, probably, I imagine people would have problems if it was like ripped and stained and stuff like that. But as long as it's clean, as long as it's not like dirty, they're fine with it, right? And it sounds like OP would probably be fine as well. All right.
I need water.
Amber needs some water.
I'm going to disappear through the void.
Amber's going to disappear through the void while we do it. Can you give me some water too?
I can.
All right. So Jot sent this one to us, and I thought it was really interesting because it was kind of related to a story that we had the other day where the guy finds out that, the wife was forced to sleep on the floor. It's the Carl story. So thanks for sharing this one, Jot. I really wanted to get to this story, so I'm happy that we could. It's titled, My Best Friend and I Kissed After Leaving My Wife. This is not Am I the Jerk subreddit. This is r/off my chest, so it's a little bit of a different subreddit than what we normally cover. I'm still pretty confused, but the strangest part for me was that I actually really liked it, and I wanted to keep going. Not because someone was kissing me, but because it was him specifically. My wife, or ex, and I have been disconnected from each other for a long time, not getting along until we finally decided to call it quits. Yet I'm not sad about it at all. I'm relieved that it's over, and my best friend since like middle school is letting me stay here for now. We were talking about random stuff. Then the conversation got a little deeper, and he was looking at me with these eyes, and it just occurred to me just to kiss him. He kissed back, and it was so intense. I've never had in my entire life ever kissed another guy before. Not only was that, but on my mind, but wanting to lead to more. We stopped though, and didn't want to seem like he was taking advantage of me right now. That's just where I left, now that I just left my wife. So, I've got a little bit more going on in my head now, what this means for me, and all I really know is that I can't stop thinking about him. So
there's an update.
And Jot says that there is an update for this one too. So
Guess we'll have to find it. But that's really awesome that OP was able to, find this out about himself.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see the update.
Yeah, I guess I would have to probably dig for it.
Just click on the user, see if you can find it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to
Oh.
like navigate too much and like have everything like weird and stuff like that. So, uh, we'll have to see if there's like some kind of update or something like that. I mean, let's see some other posts here. Oh, I guess there is some
There we
update to
go.
this.
Oh, yay!
Oh, okay. So I think the big part here is that they now have a boyfriend, and it's really, really strange. So, I mean, I think that it's important, and the reason why something like this is important is because, like, in regards to like the Carl story, it seems like those two are really close, and he may not even really realize that there's actually like some kind of they may not know about their feelings, right? And so that's kind of why I wanted to bring this up, is because I really thought that this was kind of pertinent to that conversation. I thought it was a good point. Like, he didn't, it sounds like OP in this situation never really even considered his feelings about this individual. And I think that's kind of important to point out for in like the whole context of that Carl conversation. And Little Soldier Mike says, this guy has no problem. Why is he stressing? Yeah, I mean, that's what it seems like.
Well, it's really hard when you see yourself one way and then you all of a sudden like realize something else. So it's really awesome that OP was able to find this out about himself.
Yeah, and Jot says the update basically explains that he never really thought it through and always assumed that he was straight.
And that's kind of the default, we're kind of raised to kind of assume that about ourselves. And so when you're like, oh, wait, sometimes it takes time and thought to figure out.
So, because I wanted him to be completely open and honest, he admitted that he's been in love with me for years. It definitely took him some time to accept, and he never dared to say anything because I was married, which I think was actually good, because you don't want to, like, say something like that, and, like, if the marriage was, destined to fail, then it was destined to fail. So it's good that he wasn't, like, trying to actively sabotage. And it sounds like that they were, lots of hugging, lots of crying, tons of regret on OP's part about like where would they be now. Could have been years together with this person, but I mean, hopefully like OP's not like upset that they because they had another relationship, and hopefully it wasn't like such a bitter bad relationship that they were like completely unhappy with that part of their life, right?
Right. Well, there's always things that, we could have done them sooner, but that doesn't make what time we have with them any less valuable and meaningful. So, sometimes you don't find out who, your soulmate or what you are really passionate about or all kinds of things for many years. And like, yeah, it's frustrating that like I could have been doing this thing sooner or been with this person sooner, but you have all this time with them, and that's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, life is about growth, and sometimes you discover new things about yourself and that you never knew before. And that's what the important part is. Life's a discovery. It's something that you're going to eventually have like new things crop up. And Jot says his relationship wasn't actually that bad according to his comments. They just fell out of love and decided to divorce. And I mean, I think like that even adds like with the ex, of course. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And I mean, I think that's important context. Like, just because you fall out of love, it doesn't necessarily mean that, things would have worked out any differently here or any better or worse. And sometimes relationships are about timing. Sometimes you were in the right place at the right time and have the right interests. And sometimes people just grow and change and fall apart,
Right. Well, and there's no saying that OP would have been in the right place before, So I think it's important to like, it's awesome it's the right time for both of you now, and I'm really happy that you two found each other, have the same feelings. So
yeah, I mean, it's always nice to see two people find happiness amongst themselves, and I think that's always a great thing. So I think that's a good place to kind of stop here at this point in time. Or I do apologize, folks, about reading to myself or us reading to ourselves for the first 12 minutes of this recording. But thanks so much for joining us today. We can probably do one more joke for the way out. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
So we'll let Amber find a joke for us to read here, and then in the meantime, I'll just juggle and make comments, right?
Yes.
Amber's looking in the book there. She's trying to find the perfect joke. I would read more, honestly, folks, but unfortunately, like the hour worth of reading for the most part has not been good, not been kind on my voice here.
When is the sea friendliest?
When is the sea friendliness? Friendliness? I don't know when.
When it waves.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Great.
Oh my goodness. Well, I haven't updated the live stream. Apparently, I am apparently a slacker here, but the next live stream will not be in May. It will be in June 24th, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So June 24th is the next live stream. It will also be at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern.
Assuming it starts on time.
Yeah, assuming it starts on time. Well, we did start on time.
Yeah, we started on time, but YouTube.
Yeah, technical difficulties. Aku says, thanks guys. It was a great stream as always. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so happy that you enjoyed it today. We'll sit on here and say hi and bye to people as we go along.
Bye.
So thanks for joining us, folks. Thanks so much. I really do appreciate it. June says, I'm glad I caught some of the live stream. See you guys tomorrow. See you tomorrow, June. Thanks for joining us. I'm glad you were able to. Bye, Aku.
I'm gonna go make myself some toast.
Amber's gonna go make herself some toast. So, yeah. Thanks, Garen, everyone.